Okay, we are going to try to complete what we've been working on the past two sessions, which is about who doesn't need to fast on Tisha B'Av. And we discuss exactly pregnant women, nursing women, which stage of pregnancy, which stage of nursing, all the details, the many, many details. Now, what we have to discuss is how much is a person allowed to eat? Someone who is not obligated to fast. So, the Ber Halacha already addresses this, and we already saw the Ber Halacha. Just to remind ourselves, it's a short Ber Halacha over here. And the truth is that this topic will be covered in Hilchos Yom Kippur when we learn about breaking fast in Yom Kippur. Doesn't say in Shulchan Aruch that you have to eat minimum amounts. However, the Ber Halacha over here quotes the Piskei Olam, who says that there's an idea of eating less than a koitevis, than hakosevis, which is like a small size in the shear of Kedei Achilas fast. We're going to learn exactly what this is, but what this is talking about is small quantities of food. You see that the Ber Halach over here is cross-referencing Telchos Yom Kippur and Tafrei Shud Ches, which we will learn in the near future, Mitzvah Hashem, which will talk about the exact amount and the exact timing for both eating and drinking, small amounts. And we clearly see from the conclusion of this Ber Halacha, the whole Ber Halacha, it's a small Ber Halacha, that there's an idea of what's called Achila B'Shiurim, which means eating small amounts over here. And this should apply on the Tisha B'Av as well, because that you're not going to completely uproot the fast, and Hashem wants our heart. So this is where it comes from eating a small amount. Okay. The Piskei Tshuva's comments on this. He quotes this in short. When he says like this, we find other poskim who write that a chola, someone who's sick who's allowed to eat, it's better to eat on Tisha B'Av these small quantities. Right? Not only that, if it's enough, if a person can get away with just having beverages, liquids, and not coming onto food, that will be halachically preferable. Okay. Furthermore, if eating just once will be fine, he doesn't need to eat twice. Okay. And he shouldn't eat more than he needs to. Okay. Some write that if it's possible for him to fast until after Chatzos, this halachic midday, then he should do so. And not only that, but I know that this question was asked recently, which is that there's an idea of davening mincha gedola first. This was asked, I think, by the other fast when we learned some in Tavkuf Nun. Apparently, this idea is related over here in Tisha B'Av, that to daven mincha first. So that there's two ideas over here. Firstly, there's an idea of waiting until halachic midday to break the fast, if possible. And secondly, there's an idea of first davening mincha. The obvious question is, what's the shaykhus? Why is there an idea of davening mincha first? There's definitely what to delve into over here. It doesn't get explained over here. The concept just gets related, but what to think about over there. Now, some say if it's enough with eating, this is a tremendous insight. We're going to see. We're not going to hold this way, but nevertheless, there's an opinion that exists that says that if someone has to break their fast on Tisha B'Av, and they have the option, they could either break it during the day or at night. There's a tremendous chiddush over here. You would break it at night and fast the entire day from dawn until Seitzach Uchavim. From Alois Shachar until Seitzach Uchavim, from when 3 stars emerge. And that will be considered a fast halachically that a person is able to recite Anenu in Shemona Esrei, and he could get an aliyah if he gets called up for the Torah, and he could do it. Tremendous. However, the general
Interesting.
halacha
So even halachically,
is in fact not this way. We don't fast this type of way. Rather, someone who is sick someone who is pregnant, someone who is nursing, that they are allowed to eat because of their sickness or their weakness. The rabbis didn't decree at all. Like the Shulchan Aruch says, "B'makom cholil lo yigazru rabbanan." Place with sickness, the rabbis didn't decree, and therefore they're allowed to eat immediately in the morning. Okay, questions, comments?
So someone who says, who breaks their fast by night on someone who breaks their fast by night on Tisha B'av, and then they're fasting before a los. They can say a nenu.
Yeah, that's what we just learned.
They can say a nenu if they all right, but so really a fast only starts before even Tisha B'av, the fast starts before los.
Yeah, we started at night.
At night, but so why isn't it considered as if break? Why isn't one considered breaking their fast if they eat at night?
Because you're fasting the full day.
One consider you're not the full you're and it's not day. It's only since till the morning, whatever.
You're fasting the full day.
All right, here. Okay, fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I have the same problem as David.
Yeah.
It's like the fast is 24 hours plus, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you break it in the beginning, the fast is broken. It doesn't matter when, night or day. What's the chiddush? What's the reason why he's saying that the night counts less than the day?
Correct. It seems like the day is the more important. I mean, if we zoom out a little bit and we talk about the other four fasts, excluding Tisha B'av and Yom Kippur, so then, all those fasts are during the day. So we see that the Iker Tainus is punkt b'yoyim. You see that there's an adifus of fasting during the day. Halachically, for some reason, the day is better. Either way, we don't hold that way. But there is an opinion that says such a thing.
I understand, but we're just having trouble understanding the svara behind it.
Yeah, we would have to crack open the Shalos and Shvus Yaakov, Chilik Gimel Simon Lamed Zayin, see exactly if he clarifies that.
Anenu is only for a Tainus Tzibor, it's a Tainus Yachid too.
We're going to learn about Anenu on another time. There's going to be a whole simon on that, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure. We're gonna learn about that though. I'm not sure about Tainus Yachid. It could very well be that you would say it. Let's talk about pregnant and nursing women. Someone sick on Tisha B'av shenidche. So talk about if Tisha B'av falls out on Shabbos, and then what happens is we don't fast on Shabbos. So Tisha B'av now becomes Sunday. They're allowed to eat. There are more leniencies over there, even with a little bit of pain. Some say if they could wait until after midday and daven mincha, they should do that. If they're in a lot of pain, they could even do it before. Okay, that's the nidcha business. The footnote over here, he quotes that if you have a woman who within the last 30 days she just gave birth, and that's the main discussion. But according to some, we learned, Aruch HaShulchan in particular, she could eat. And according to the Aruch HaShulchan, it seems like she could even have, she doesn't have to have small quantities. Say that in the name of the Chazon Ish, Nisan Avni Nezer also, if someone is sick, the rabbis didn't decree, they could eat immediately, even in the morning, and that's the Chazon Ish Pasuk. Should be just pointed out, just to clarify. According to the Mishnah Berurah, it seems like if someone just gave birth within the last 30 days, but not within the last 7 days, she should try to begin fasting, and if she's in pain or it's going to affect her milk supply, then she could break it. According to the Aruch HaShulchan, she doesn't need to fast at all. According to Divrei Yatziv, he's a little bit more stringent. He said nowadays our women are stronger, not like the Aruch HaShulchan who said they're weaker. They're stronger. The pregnancy is better, so therefore they should try to fast. Of course, like the Or L'Tzion says, if she had a surgery, C-section, etc., she's not in pain, then there's what her line to be more lenient.
What was the Chazon Ish again? What did he say?
The Chazon Ish over here is basically saying he's endorsing, so to say, this shita of the Avnei Nezer. The Avnei Nezer said someone who doesn't eat the fast could break the fast immediately in the morning. Chazon Ish says you have my stamp of approval. That's
Hmm.
the Chazon Ish. The Chazon Ish isn't his own shita. He's basically just solidifying the Avnei Nezer. Let's talk about it at night. Night, person should fast if they're able to. Even though Makom Chayli goes to Rabbanon, like it says in Shulchan Aruch, nevertheless, in order to combine with the pain and the avelus of Klal Yisrael, they should do it. I'm going to try to join into the morning that's happening over here. Okay. It's talking about now, let's say if eating right, meaning like this. Let's say we're only going to permit a person to eat because he could become sick. But right now, everything is clear sailing. Everything's going great. In that case, if someone needs to eat, that's when we apply this ber halacha, and we say that a person should do achila v'shtia b'shiur, have the small quantities. Okay. Furthermore, even someone who is in a more lenient category of eating and drinking, that doesn't mean that they should be going out and getting a $250 piece of tomahawk steak at a restaurant in New York City. That's what we were talking about. That doesn't mean you should be wining and dining. You're going out and you're buying a $700 bottle of wine going out to eat. It's exactly what we're not talking about. Okay? It's not what we're talking about over here. Person has to realize that we have a churban of the base of Mikdash and has to try to combine into that morning as much as possible. Feel the pain that's happening over here. Person should eat simple food that's needed to nourish the body. Okay? Now, there's an idea of if a person is able to refrain from eating cooked items, then he should do so. Yeah? At least 2 cooked items don't have. So there's definitely we see this concept, these are very important concepts which we didn't see on the Noisei Kalim, on the page of the Torah, of the Shulchan Aruch, the Mishnah. We didn't see really. We saw this idea of not having basar v'yayin, but to this extent, with the dishes, with these details, not to have cooked items, we didn't see this. But nevertheless, this is something that is definitely something to talk about over here.
I mean, we see that idea by the by the Suda Mafsekes, right? About the cooked items, etc.
Oh, for sure, Suda Mafsekes. That's going to be another simon for sure. It's
No,
funny.
but I'm saying, but we see that concept. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That we should hold back on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. David, after the learning session yesterday, we were talking a little bit, and the student Mafsekes came up a little. Oh no, that was maybe with one of my other chavrusis.
No, we spoke. Yeah, we did. We brought it
Yeah, that
up.
was
Maybe.
you also. One of my other chavrusis were doing makas on what is it? Chaf Aleph. So by tattoos comes up over there. Efer Mikla. Look is also. Anyways, so this basically is the story thus far. Okay, we have to move because we really have ground to cover over here.
I was asking what time we put shoes on when Tisha was on
that's
Motzi
something else.
Shabbos.
I'm talking about that. I was talking about the Suda Mafsekes as well. Okay. But by the way, you see that in this footnote 72, where he actually references the Suda Mafsekes. If we say on the eve of Tisha B'av, by the Suda Mafsekes, you shouldn't have more than 1 cooked dish, certainly on Tisha B'av itself. Certainly. Right? Rabbi Fisher says that for children or sick people who need to eat 2 dishes, then they could. Okay. You see, such a concept is in fact related. Someone who does need to eat on Tisha B'av should do so privately. Here's when the shilas get interesting. When you wash, someone who's going to break their fast on Tisha B'av and is going to wash Okay. Do you wash your whole hand or just up until the knuckles?
Hmm.
Wants to
I
say
think
leniently that you would wash your entire hand. Why? This
right. You have
rechitza
to wash your entire hand.
is a shel tainug. It's not a pleasurable washing, rather it's a mitzvah. And not only that, but when you're done eating, you would do mayim achronim. 3 people shouldn't eat together, not to form a zimun, similar to Erev Tisha B'Av. By benching, many say that you would insert nachim right before B'nai Yerushalayim. And you would conclude the
That's
bracha
interesting,
menachim
Raka.
siyun B'nai Yerushalayim. If you didn't say it, you wouldn't go back. Some say that you should not say it, rather you should only say it in the harachaman without a conclusion. So you have a discussion about the nachim. It's interesting. The Shari Mitzvah about halacha says just stay away from bread because of the shaila of washing. Eat other items. I think
Yeah.
people
Wow.
default to that during the week. They what they call the anti-bread eaters because it's such a commitment to wash your hands and to do a full benching. Oh, wow, what a commitment! You get a minimum 6 brachas. What is a chus? But such a commitment, I can't do it.
I don't understand why
Look
the
at this
Gedolim is
chiddush, by
all.
the way. He quotes at the end of the footnote from the Shals Shuvas Halachas Getanas Chilik Beisim and Kuf Lamed Vav. Someone who ate at the Sudam of Sekis when it was still day before Tisha B'av, and once it got dark, he realized, oh my
Oh
gosh, I didn't
wow.
bench. He says that you should mention Nachim in the Bracha B'nai Yerushalayim. Charatzion doubts that, and the reason why it's questionable is because usually we go after the beginning of a meal,
Right.
and therefore you probably wouldn't. It's a tremendous chiddush,
Yeah.
but this is the Indian over here. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, let's just take around 5-10 minutes or so to go through some of what I thought the highlights of. There's around 20 pages over here in the Shilos and Chuvas Mekadesh Yisrael on the topics that we have been learning about already. This is the 3rd session about people who are allowed to break their fast and what to eat and the details. So let's just go through some of the highlights, what I thought. Over here, he's talking about a chayla shein by sakana. Someone who is sick, but it's not a fatal sickness. It's not a dangerous sickness. That type of person is in fact exempt from fasting. But let's say he says, I want to be really frum and I want to fast, so to say. He wants to be frum, so to say. Ein shum to'elis betanisa. Umoichin biyodoi milhesanis. Someone who is exempt from fasting and fasts, there is no benefit to this fast, and you should protest this person who's fasting. Protest him. That's what you say. The Sefer Halichos Hagrach quotes from Chaim Brisk, who says that a person cannot be stringent to fast on Tisha B'Av. It's not called astringency. It's not called astringency over here. All right? Even if he would fast when he was exempt, if someone is exempted from fasting on Tisha B'Av and they fast, Ein Shem Tainis Tisha B'Av Allah. It's not even called halachically a fast. Why? Makom chayli, lo ygazer rabbanan. Like we saw in Shulchan Aruch, if in a situation when someone is sick, they didn't decree a fast, and therefore this is a tremendous chiddush. Someone who fasts on Tisha B'Av that shouldn't be fasting, it's not even considered that he fasted. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Can you imagine a guy went through a full day fast in the middle of the summer? He doesn't even get credit for fasting. Can you imagine? It's like he's just fasting
Well,
on a
he's too
regular
sick or
weekday, on a
something.
random day. What a shita.
Because he's too
Something from
sick.
Brisk. What?
So he's
Oh,
go ahead, David.
he's sick. What, he's sick?
David, I said 20 minutes ago, you're a little staticky. It's hard to hear.
All right, fine.
I don't know why
Well, so
today
this
you
is
got
because
more
he's sick,
static than
right? He's
usual.
sick, right?
What'd you say?
He's sick, right? This is someone who's sick, right? He's sick.
Yeah, he's sick. He's
He
old and
shouldn't
he
be
shouldn't be
fasting. He
fasting.
shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
that's right.
So you're
Right.
basically saying that
I
when
don't
the
know.
Rabbanan goes, when the Rabbanan goes or something, it removes the chiyuv totally.
That's right. That's right.
But not only removes not even removes the chiyuv, it makes like not even the chiyuv, but it makes it like a lav, right?
Yeah.
It makes it like a
Exactly.
lav.
Right.
I want to know I want to know some of these things. Like it's interesting. Like
It's hard to hear you. You got to
it's a
relocate
very
somewhere else.
interesting. It's a very interesting topic because it's a very interesting topic because there's shitas like where someone tries to be machmir, you know machmir or whatever in in a in a and they really shouldn't
Right. For sure.
be doing what they're doing.
Right.
It's
For
very
sure.
interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to know like more of these
Yeah.
concepts.
Yeah.
Like when you shouldn't
You got to go to a
be
different location. It's very hard to
around.
hear you. So he says, therefore, that it's prohibited for a person to um, to be stringent and fast, since it's going to damage his health. And just like a person can't wound himself, and you should protest someone who wants to be stringent. We're going to see when we learn the halachas of Yom Kippur about this. This is going to be a story, if I'm not mistaken, with Rav Shach. Shach said, every other Yom Kippur of your life, it was a mitzvah to fast. Now it's a mitzvah not to fast. Tremendous idea. Let's you have a sick person that he doesn't need to fast. Could you just eat in the morning, or do you need to wait until you feel a certain weakness? She says, which I think is a very logical ruling, that one should be stringent and he should try to fast until midday, till chatzos. Meaning you try the best that you could. Makor Chaim says that any place that we allow eating on a public fast day, nevertheless, you right, right, which means only eat when you need to eat, right? If you don't need to eat at night already, then you shouldn't be eating at night. You try to do whatever you could. I think that's a very fair, logical ruling. Others say otherwise. That's the sheet of the Makor Chaim. Avnei Nezer seems to say you could break the fast ASAP. So if Harfin wants to say there's no question. There's no machloikas between the Avnei Nezer and the Makor Chaim. Rather, it depends on the degree of sickness that one has, or how weak a person is. Makor Chaim is talking about that someone who can handle it more. Okay? Versus Avnei Nezer. Okay, it's not necessarily machloikas. Depends on the situation. Koila Gomer, he specifies over here, you don't have to have shira. Someone's totally sick, you don't have to have the smaller quantities. Again, it depends on the exact case and scenario. This is why, by the way, this is the classic child that every single Rav gets many times. About breaking fast on because every single fast, as we've been learning about in depth, is different. And every single person is different and it's case dependent. And it's based on a tremendous amount of knowledge. A person has to have all that knowledge and then apply it. Like I said, it's one of the more gray areas of Orach Chaim, perhaps, which there are different sirufim. It's kind of like a Yordaya Shiloh almost. It's just a massive chiddush over here. Massive chiddush. Um, there's an idea of if someone has to eat on Tisha B'av, should have a smaller amount. Why? Because when it comes to something midrabanan, chatzi shir isn't prohibited. And we don't say chazil, it's trufe. You could combine it. And therefore is talking about a sick person who we wouldn't really allow to eat.
Why not?
Totally. Partially sick. So it could be that now we could have a very small amount, chotzi shear, and it's a tremendous eitzah tactic for someone who is pregnant and worse or nursing who has pain. And we say, okay, we're not sure if now they could break the fast. So now we apply this. Mendes Chiddush. Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says, someone who eats on Tisha B'Av could get an aliyah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Also, Shachris for sure. Okay, that was just a little miscellaneous. Over here in this tshuva, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but this is around the 5-pager over here. He talks about he's really the only one who we saw who really goes into each month of the pregnancy cycle. He says, in general, pregnant women should be fasting. The first 3 months, and also the last 3 months, they could be more lenient. Especially if it will endanger the fetus, that will certainly be an issue. You have to consult with the doctor, especially, let's remind ourselves what we learned, especially if there was a miscarriage in previous pregnancies. This is what to rely on more for leniencies. So this type of woman, pregnant woman, needs to consult a doctor and a rav. And this is an interesting area of halacha because you really have the medical field and the halacha field totally intertwined. The problem is a lot of the doctors, even the Jewish ones, they don't know the halachas. That's a big problem. And they just say what they think and they don't really know. That's an issue. Okay? If she's weak, certainly this is what to rely on. Any questions, comments on today's session, the last 2 sessions about the breaking the fast on Tisha B'Av?
No.
Okay. Stop here. I'd like to say a brief idea on the parsha.